Hello, everyone, and welcome to the White Rabbit podcast. My name is Matt Kraus, coming to you from Bandırma, Turkey. And my co-host, Alper Rosanes, is coming to you from Barcelona, Spain. And Alper, we have a guest today on the podcast, Necil Beykont. Necil is a good friend of both of us. In fact, I've known Necil for more than 15 years. And Alper,
You knew him before I did, right?
Yeah, I knew him before.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I've known him for 15 years. And Alper, if I remember correctly, the three of us were in Istanbul Toastmasters at about the same time. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Almost a decade ago.
yeah, that seems like another.
Not almost a decade ago, more than a decade ago.
It was more than a decade ago. Yeah, it seems like a long time ago. So anyway, Necil, so say a quick hi to our listeners, Necil, and then I'll do some more intro stuff.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Necil,
That's it?
That's it. I mean, if you want to. Okay, I can start talking if you want me to,
No.
because I have already read Matt's introduction, so I'm waiting for my turn to come. To
That's
start
okay.
speaking. So this is my short hi
Well,
to everyone.
we'll turn on let Necil talk now, but in a few moments. For now, that's sufficient, Necil. Okay.
Wow.
So anyway, so Necil is a negotiation trainer in Istanbul, and he wrote a book called Kazandıran Müzakere. Pardon my mangling of the Turkish language there. And it roughly translates into English into winning negotiations or negotiations that win. Does that sound like a pretty decent translation, Necil?
Not really, but that's the best you could come up with. So we'll go with it.
Well, let's get a third, much better translation in there. How would you translate Kazandıran Müzakere, Necil?
A negotiation that helps or makes you win or something like that.
There you
not
go.
a good translation, but much better than yours.
Well, thank you.
Let's ask Alper.
I think you can say winning negotiations, not in the sense of how to win the negotiation, but the negotiation that brings you the winning. So I think winning
Exactly.
negotiations, when you use winning as the adjective, I think it's perfectly good translation on Matt's part.
Okay, well,
Yeah, but helps you winning is a better, as you said, helps you better or makes you better, makes you win is a better maybe. We don't have an exact English for it. Yes.
Discussing the title of Necil's book is interesting, but is not what we're here to talk about today. We are here to talk about another topic that Alper and I both feel strongly about. Okay. And Necil has weighed in on that topic too. And that is the categories of hard skills versus soft skills. But we'll get to that in a moment. And now, Necil, this is where we get to turn on the Let Necil Speak button. So, Necil, help me wrap up this intro. Is there anything that our audience should know about you that I forgot to mention? Push the Necil Speak now.
Maybe at this point I should mention the fact that I'm the guy who started in two of Istanbul's universities, Bilgi University and Bahçeşehir University. I am the person who has started negotiation courses both at undergraduate levels and graduate levels. So
Congratulations.
So I proposed the syllabus for a one semester negotiation course, which they accepted, both universities. And I served them as a trainer, as a lecturer for about 11, 12 years in those universities. And although I stopped, lecturing these negotiation courses in both of those universities, I'm proud to announce that I'm seeing in their websites they are still using word by word the syllabuses that I have proposed, that I have put in those universities. I don't
Nice.
I don't understand why.
Congratulations.
Maybe the lecturers after me who started to lecture in those universities liked the syllabus so much that they didn't think that a word of it should be changed. So I'm proud of this as well. So I heard.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And Necil, before I forget, tell our listeners, if they want to get in touch with you after the podcast, where can they find you?
Well, they can find me at by sending DMs through LinkedIn, Necil Beykont, or they can send mails to me. My mail address is necil@yahoo.com, or I don't know. They can call me.
Matt, did
or
you hear that, by the way?
They can go to my website. They can go to my website. They might find my email address as well as my telephone number through my website. And the address of the website is kazandıranmüzakere.com.
Okay. And before I go on, so Alper, you said something and I didn't catch that. What
his
did you
email is his first name at yahoo.com.
Yeah.
I'm not mocking the fact that it's yahoo.com. I'm in awe of the fact that he was able to grab it. Necil, what year are we talking about? 90s?
I think 98 or 99. I mean, the email thing was just starting. And I was the one to pick that email address from Yahoo. Yes.
Okay.
I think owners of Yahoo have email addresses like that, like mark@yahoo.com or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So as soon as I attempted to get the Necil@gmail or Necil@hotmail, they were already gone. So I'm sticking with my very original email address.
Yeah.
So okay. let's get down to the main topic for today. And the main topic for today is, as I mentioned, the categories of hard skills versus soft skills, and our opinion on the divisions of those skills into those categories. And yesterday, Alper and I were recording an episode with a book author, which was much more tangible. At the start of the recording, I knew, like, okay, this is the book and we're going to talk about these chapters, and this is probably what we're going to talk about. And this is approximately how long the podcast is going to last. And today is not that at all. Today is just three guys who have a topic that they kind of like talking about, and they're going to riff on it and hope that something semi-coherent comes out and they can turn it into a podcast later. So thank you for your patience, listeners, for putting up with this. All right. So to start us out, Necil, so back us up a little bit. So everyone is probably familiar with these terms, hard skills and soft skills. But just in case they are not familiar with those terms, can you define those terms for them so they kind of know what we're talking about?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've done my homework. So let me give you the definitions of these two words. So one of them is, I will start with the hard skills. It says specific, measurable, teachable abilities to perform a job.
Okay.
So looking at this, so there are basically three things: specific, measurable, and teachable.
Okay.
So when we look at this, you automatically start thinking, okay, so let's look at soft skills. Are they not specific? Are they not measurable? And are they not teachable? Okay. But I don't know why they came up with such a definition of hard skills. So when we go to the soft skills, in quotations, it says it's a longer definition. It says personal traits, communication habits, and social attitudes that shape how you interact with others and handle daily tasks.
Okay.
So they're not talking about measuring. They're not talking about teaching or being teachable, or they are not talking about any specific things, but they are talking about interactions with other people. So from these two, I understand, or we should understand, that one involves non-human types of things or skills or abilities. The other one talks about abilities or traits involved with human interactions.
Okay.
So this is how we should distinguish between the two definitions.
Okay.
So basically, these are the definitions. So if you like, I can give you some examples for each category.
That would be very helpful. So why don't you give us some examples, Necil?
Yeah. So when we are talking about hard skills, basically we are talking about skills like accounting and finance, engineering. I'm looking up at my notes. Engineering, database management, computer programming, graphic design, video editing, foreign language proficiency, and the things like plumbing or painting, not in the sense of making pictures, but painting the walls.
Sure.
This kind of, or construction of a building, these are all hard skills.
Okay.
Which do not have anything to do with human interactions, we can say. Okay. So when we go to the soft skills category, there are a lot of other things which I notice that are one into each other.
Okay.
So when we start talking about the soft skills, or exemplify what those soft skills are, we should be talking about communication. That's number one. Problem solving, teamwork, negotiation, decision making, organization, creativity, active listening, empathy, leadership, blah, blah, blah. You can talk about a lot of headlines, which are into each other, as I say.
Okay.
So why I'm saying this is I really do not understand why they come up with so many headlines which are in the subject of the other very easily. So
you mean like do you mean why they come up with so many skills that are in the soft skills bucket? Is that what you're talking about?
No. For example, let me give you an example. Okay, my subject, negotiation. Okay,
sure.
It's one of the main items of soft skills, or soft. Let's talk about this as well, because I don't like the term soft and hard when we are talking about those skills. Because when we say soft or hard, we imply, or the person listening to you would understand that the hard skills are difficult, whereas soft skills are easy. Or hard skills are important or is essential, whereas soft skills are not so important. So it gives you such a how can I say, such a perception of meaning, which is not true. I believe. So that's why I am opposing to this categorization, like soft and hard. Okay. So that's another issue. Coming back to your question, why so many types of soft skills, I think, should not be categorized under the same category, because talking about negotiation, negotiation is a soft skill, let's say. Empathy is also another soft skill, but empathy is included in negotiation, right?
Yeah.
Decision making is another soft skill item, right?
I see.
Decision making is also included in negotiation, right? Adaptability, leadership, problem solving, conflict resolution. These are all, it looks like other categories of soft skills, but all of them are within the context of negotiation. right?
So let me see if I'm following you correctly. So for example, if I make a list of what are the soft skills, that list is going to be really long, but it's not really long because those skills are separate. It is long because those skills are actually some of them are sub skills of another skill. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. That's what I mean. Exactly.
Huh. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So as I said previously, decision making, positive attitude, empathy, adaptability, problem solving, conflict resolution. These are all sub skills of negotiation, right? Think about it. Okay, so the category soft skills should be, there should not be so many, let's say, headlines.
Mm-hmm.
There should not be so many titles of soft skills under this category.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't like using the word soft and hard. The reason I tried to explain previously.
Yeah.
So why? I did explain this. So what should we use instead? Do you have any ideas?
Skills.
Skills, but okay. Construction worker skills is different than public speaking skills, right?
Hey, they're skills.
So you have to. If I force you to come up with two category name,
well, don't.
What would you suggest? Sorry. What?
Don't force me to come up with two. Don't categorize me, Necil.
Okay. Well, I was expecting a question from Matt, which I couldn't receive as of now. Okay, if you don't like those skills, what is your suggestion? So I
will ask that
this
question now.
Is not coming. I don't know what to do.
Hey, Necil, here's a question for you. If you don't like those skills, what was it you wanted me to ask you? No, seriously.
If you don't like categories, what would you prefer instead of them?
Okay. Necil, here's a question for you.
Just ask this question seriously so that I can reply.
All right, I'll try to be very serious. Okay. So Necil, if you don't like those categories, what should we be using instead?
Okay, I would be using, instead of hard skills, I would be using technical skills.
Okay.
Which has nothing to do with human skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or human interactions or personal traits, right? Technical skills like an accounting guy, an engineering, a mechanical engineer, an electrical engineer, a computer programmer, a plumber, an electrician, a painter of the walls, and so on. These do not have anything to do with personal traits or communication or dealing with other human beings. So I would categorize those type of skills in the technical skills category.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Your second question is, okay, then what would you say to the or what would you replace for the soft skills, right?
Yeah. Hey, Necil, this category of soft skills, what would you call them instead?
Okay. So, any suggestions?
Interpersonal skills.
I came up with a simpler term.
I'm
human
thinking
skills.
Human skills.
What did you say? Human skills. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Technical skills and human skills.
Technical skills and human skills.
Human skills, yes.
I was thinking of the much drier term non-technical skills. If we have one category called technical skills, let's call the other one non-technical skills. What do you think about that, Necil?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't really, how can I say? I mean, when you hear non-technical skills, does the idea of personal traits or social attitudes, communication habits, Do those come to your mind when you hear non-technical?
No, all that comes to mind is things that did not fit into the first category.
So maybe it's better to name them as human skills instead of or personal skills. Maybe, I don't know, but human is better, I think.
Okay.
Than soft, because due to the fact that, as I said, soft gives you a perception of being easy or not so important, blah, blah, blah. Whereas hard gives you the impression of very difficult, very essential, very important, and so on. I believe both types of skills are important. Both types of skills are very essential in life. Therefore, I think we shouldn't categorize those skills as soft.
And Alper, I've got a comment that I want to make, but you look like you're chomping at the bit to say something. So what's gone through your mind, Alper?
There's something in his mind. I don't know what it is, but
go ahead. I'll maybe speak later. Go ahead.
Maybe. Okay.
When I hear you mention this, Necil, and me being a presentation training for years, I can relate very well to these categories, the hard skills versus soft skills categories, and how many problems it causes. And the first place that I go to when I hear me talking about it, or when I hear somebody else like Necil talking about it, the first place that I go to is, why do people do this? And I don't know, you tell me what you think, Necil, but I think that people do this because I think that people use these categories, hard skills and soft skills, because like you mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, you mentioned that three of the traits of hard skills are that they are, what do you say, specific, measurable, and you said
teachable.
There you go. Specific, measurable, and teachable. And
is to perform a job.
Yeah, it's to perform a job. Not a
human interaction, but to perform a job.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put the guy in an empty room and he can perform his job without touching any other human beings, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when I ask myself, why have people created this categorization, hard skills versus soft skills? Why have people done this? And the thing that I keep coming back to is that they're just having a really hard time measuring stuff. Like if you want to measure somebody's finance skills, you can say, oh, can you use Excel, or can you use QuickBooks, or whatever those are the small business ones. But and if you want to measure somebody's ability to build a bridge, you can ask them, oh, have you ever worked with blah 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 adhesive, and where would you get, can you compare X steel and Y steel? And you ask them questions like that. But so those skills are measurable. But when you want to say, like, what's your management style, or how do you talk to people? People just they just don't know how to measure them. And so since they don't know how to measure them, they don't really know how to ask about them. And so they just throw up their hands and throw those things into the soft skills department, where they get deprioritized. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Necil?
Well, I'm not saying that the definition of hard skills is wrong.
Oh.
Of course, it's right.
Okay.
It is true that it is possible to measure whether a guy has developed a certain hard skill by, looking at the results of his performance. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it is measurable, and the things that he or she can do, based on those hard skills, are specific.
Okay,
that's also true. Okay, mm-hmm. The funny thing that I see in this definition is that it says in the hard skills section, mm-hmm. they are teachable. Okay. So it implies that the soft skills are not really teachable.
Interesting. Okay.
This I don't agree. This I disagree with.
Yeah.
Okay? So being specific and being measurable, I agree. Yes, no problem.
Uh-huh.
I can also say that the soft skills that you teach people, which I believe they are teachable, might be somehow specific, and as you said, they are not really measurable. I mean, you cannot measure again. For example, Alper, they are teaching people how to make effective public speeches, right? Can you measure a person whether he has become a person with 100% good public speaking skills?
Okay.
Of course not. You can only see whether they are better or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Alper, on that note, so you told like this whole podcast, you've looked like your face was about to explode. So I suspect that Alper has something to say. So what's on your mind?
He's waiting for the right moment.
No, I'm not waiting for the right moment. I'm waiting to feel internally whether I would want to shoot myself and all of us in the foot by speaking or not.
Go for it.
Let's go for it. You can always edit this video.
Yeah, we can always cut it out.
We spent the better of the last half an hour talking whether it should be called hard skills or soft skills and human skills or technical skills. And Matt, you mentioned at one point that it is causing problems, this differentiation. What kind of problems exactly?
Are you asking
Otherwise,
me?
I'm just going to name this podcast episode Necil Beykont's take on, Cambridge Dictionary, and we'll just have a petition to change the words, and that's it.
I think you're asking me, by the way, Alper, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that the problem it causes is that it kind of like what Necil was saying earlier, it causes people to deprioritize or to devalue the skills that are falling into the soft skills bucket. And here's where I get to whip out my little mini lesson on accounting. By the way, just a little disclaimer, I'm the last person who should be teaching any class on accounting. So take this with a massive grain of salt, what I'm about to say. When a company buys another company, there's goodwill goes on the balance sheet. You're both familiar with the concept of goodwill. Is that correct, Necil and Alper?
Yep.
Okay. So basically, goodwill is the amount that the buyer is paying for non-tangible assets. So on the balance sheet, let's say, on the balance sheet, you've got, your tangible assets, your chairs and your computers and your desks. And if it's a manufacturing company, any of the machines on the floor. And if there's a warehouse, the racks on the warehouse and all this stuff, they're listed on the balance sheet as assets of the company. But then you've got this other line on the balance sheet, which will usually be called something like goodwill. And often goodwill will be a really large chunk of money. So you might have like a company that in total is worth, let's say, for example, $1 million. And maybe the tangible assets are, $400,000, but that means that $600,000 is
goodwill.
Goodwill. Yeah. Goodwill. And into goodwill is just all the stuff that can't be measured gets thrown in. Like if you want to measure the price of a chair, you can do that. If you want to measure the price of a rack in the warehouse, you can do that. If you want to measure the price of a computer, you can do that. But if you want to measure the price of, Steve Jobs' presentation skills or Jamie Dimon's reputation in U.S. banking or stuff like that, if you want to measure those things, you can't. And so you just take whatever you're willing to pay and you just dump those things into, just simply because you can't measure them or you don't know how to measure them, you just dump them into this category called goodwill. And so, and often goodwill will be larger than the tangible assets of a company, or at least goodwill will be a large part of the company's value. And So simply because you can't measure it, you're dumping it into this category called goodwill, and it kind of gets devalued. I mean, when you think of what is the president of now, JP Morgan Chase or whatever, Jamie Dimon. When you think of Jamie Dimon now, like he's worth a lot more than the chair, but the chair gets a number on the balance sheet, whereas the value of Jamie Dimon does not. There is no line on the balance sheet. The value of Jamie Dimon is getting measured, but it's just getting, because you don't know it precisely enough to put a line on the balance sheet that says value of Jamie Dimon. You just dump it into goodwill. And so goodwill gets devalued. Goodwill gets devalued every year, whereas the chair holds its value. And it's ridiculous to say that Jamie Dimon is worth less than a chair, or Jamie Dimon's value is less or more fungible or more changeable or less dependable than the value of the chairs and computers on the floor. So
does it include like the brand value, this goodwill item?
Yeah, the goodwill would be like brand value too. So like if, for example, if I buy Apple computers, if I buy Apple, I'm going to pay a lot of goodwill, and a lot of that, I'm going to pay, like, I don't know what the market capitalization of Apple is these days. Let's say it's, I don't know, $10 billion or whatever. I'm going to pay $10 billion to own Apple. Probably a lot more than that, actually. But for example, I'm going to pay
close to $1 trillion?
Yeah, or $1 trillion or whatever. I'm going to pay $1 trillion for Apple. And the chairs and the computers in the Apple buildings on the Apple campus come to like, 400 million, but that means I'm paying 600, whatever it is, billion, whatever, for goodwill. And so simply because I can't measure the value of the Apple Corporation, I dump it into this goodwill category, and it allows me to deprioritize it. I'm still paying a lot of money for it, but I'm deprioritizing it. There's like a cognitive dissonance where on the one hand, me, the buyer, I'm paying a lot of money for Apple, but on the other hand, simply because I can't measure the value of this brand, Apple, I just dump that money into this category that changes daily, and chairs only change every 5 years, but the value of this brand changes every day, and I'm taking all this money that I'm paying and I'm dumping it into this category that gets deprioritized simply because I can't measure it. It strikes me as ridiculous.
Are you making similarities between the soft skills as the goodwill and the hard skills as the tangible assets?
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying, is that the soft skills are kind of like the goodwill. The soft skills, you're paying a lot of money for those soft skills. They drive your business. They're your brand value and all the stuff that's intangible. That's the biggest value of your company. And yet, simply because you can't measure it, you feel more comfortable saying this chair or this ability to use Excel or QuickBooks or whatever. These hard skills are more valuable. But the reality is that your actions are showing they are not. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree. 100%.
So, all right. So that's my mini accounting story, and anybody who actually knows accounting is going to rip that apart in like 20 seconds.
Yeah, maybe that's basically why soft skills are, how can I say, undervalued or underestimated, because they are not measurable. It comes to to what you have told us until now. Because they are not really measurable, so we cannot estimate how valuable they are. Whereas a good engineer, a good plumber, you know, whatever product they put forward, you can see it, you can measure the performance, and you can say, hey, this is very valuable for us because here, look at the product that he has brought.
Yeah.
But a good public speaker or a good negotiator, you cannot be really sure what you have earned or what you have won because he's a very good negotiator.
Yeah,
because
true.
he's a good because he's a good communicator.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you cannot measure by figures the results of this highly skilled person, highly skilled person's communication habits, social attitudes, or personal traits, how good they are. You cannot measure the results of those traits really by numbers.
Yeah, and so it's about time to wrap this up. So let's give the last word to Alper. Alper, who looks calmer now. 10 minutes ago his face looked like it was about to explode, but he looks okay now. But I'm still wondering, Alper, is there anything rattling around in there that you still want to get out?
No, I was just realizing that in my experience, and I think this goes for both of you as well, in your experiences as well, I think it's more common that it will take a relatively significant event in a person's life or a moment for him or her to say, okay, I need to work on this soft skill. So I may have the diploma hanging on the wall, I may have the technical skills, but I think it usually takes a critical moment, like not knowing what to do in front of people, missing out a lot on a negotiation, or flunking a very important presentation, to be able to say, I think I need some help in this area. I need to improve myself in this area. So my recommendation would be, let's not wait until the last moment. Let's not wait until, the egg door thing is a Turkish expression. Matt, how would you say the last moment?
You would say the last minute. You would say that quite literally, the last minute.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's not wait until that moment.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll wrap it up here. So thank you very much for joining us today, Necil. And
thank you.
I don't know. You tell me, Alper, do you feel like we have the makings of a podcast here?
Yeah. I also filled out an application to send to Cambridge. I'm going to ask that they change the dictionary on Necil's request. So I'm not putting any high hopes on it, but let's see what happens.
All right.
Mind you, I never objected to any of the definitions that the dictionary has. I agreed with all of them, but I just talked about the implications of one definition on the other definition.
Yeah.
Well, so thanks again, Necil. And so Alper and I will see you for the next episode then. Take care.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.